Test mic, test mic, test mic, test mic. All right, good morning, everyone. It's 9:41 in the morning, last day of the 2024, last trading day, and it's a short market hours, so we haven't had any trades yet. I'm looking at what the SPY is doing. SPY is having a little bit of a pullback, but we are still up by 50 cents or 0.09%. So pre-market low with the SPY is at 587 with a pre-market high of 590. Now the stocks that are very active are, number one is Tesla. Tesla is encountering a very strong support at 414 and pre-market high of 426. Looking at the daily, it encountered that very strong resistance or support at that daily moving average. So right now, Tesla, looking at SPY, let's see if SPY daily have reached the support. Not yet. Tesla here having a little bit of a bounce. Let's look at how it looks like on the daily chart. Daily chart, it still is trying to see if it would like to test the support. Right now there's not a lot of volume, so it can test the support again. So next one that is active is Nvidia. Nvidia is down by $1.18. Pre-market low is at 136 with a pre-market high of 138. Holo is not, let's see, float is 20 million on the borderline of borderline of a low float stock. RGTI is a float of 215 million, not a low float. I don't like the daily. Daily looks like a 3-day play. So let's just finish that. BBAI, also not a plus setup. Float is 179 million, so not a low float stock, definitely. And Sound, not the A plus setup, just because of how the daily looks like. Now let's go back to Tesla. Tesla here encountered a strong resistance at 416, and then now the support that it respected is 414. Volume bar came through here, so I am gonna put in a small share size to the long on Tesla. All right, sorry about that. I was talking to myself. I think my bar came through here, so I am gonna, yes, sorry. So I was talking to myself, my mic was muted. So going back, we were looking at SPY. SPY is having a little bit of a pullback. SPY, although it is up still by 90 cents, it had a little bit of a pullback, tested the support, and after it tested the support, we were looking for strong stocks or actively trading stocks, and one of which is Tesla. So Tesla had that pullback to that moving average in the daily. We started a small position right here just because there is a bit of a volume bar that came through, and it had been respecting that support right here at, let's see, 414.88. So just added a small share size to Tesla to the long, given that the support that it encountered is at 414.41. Now we are going to have a tight stop loss here. The stop loss is going to be the low of the day, as well as look at that low of the day. That is also the low of the pre-market. What I don't like about this trade is it does not have a lot of volume yet. Look at this one, comparing the volume bar right here, there's a lot of volume bar. When it comes to this, it's just consolidating. And the reason for being it's consolidating is because there's not a lot of volume bar yet. So we're waiting for the momentum for Tesla for a bounce up. And let's see if Tesla will be able to do that. What I like about the long trade that we did with Tesla is the overall market or the SPY is also bouncing back up. We are lacking volume here, so that's the thing that's missing. So if you notice, the way that we trade is we take a small position first. If there is a confirmation, which is at this point, because there is this red, or previously you have your, well, you have your green candlestick now. In my case, it's white, just so it's not as an eyesore, but we started with a small position at the confirmation. Because we are now above that moving average, that's where we add to the position. Now this one is starting to go, so let's take some partial. It's not wrong to take partial. It's always a good thing to put some money in your pocket and just secure those profits, just because you never know if it's just gonna go against you. But right now we took some partial here, but look at the buildup of the ask here. That's very bullish. We are heading to the moving average, and that moving average is a very strong resistance. So that's the reason why we are trying to take some partial here, taking some profits in those trade. Now what we notice here with SPY is now above the VWAP. So above the VWAP, that's actually going to help our trade here. Big resistance encountered in the moving average as well as the VWAP there, which we expect to happen. That's where the VWAP is, as well as in the 5 minutes, the VWAP is there. So now let's see, SPY is above the VWAP now, and I don't see any imbalance yet on this stock. There is, let's see, looking at the bid and the ask, no imbalance yet. There was a big orders that just came through with all the red prints, but now what we see is 419.37. So looking at the tape here, 419.40 acting as a very strong resistance. There is a big order at 418.90, very bearish. So we have to protect our profit here. 419.20 acting as a resistance there, and there is a buildup now of that order sitting at the bid. So now we were able to push through that 419.20. It is now at 414.50. So time to take some profit. So just partialing there when it's pushing higher. And right now we are encountering the VWAP at the 15 minutes. And yeah, nothing but strength there. So we were able to capture that Tesla to the long with a confirmation of that 5 minutes that is very bullish, and we are up by a couple of thousands here. All right, so this is what we call an easy trade just because we waited for an A plus setup. We went to look for other stocks that does not have the A plus setup. They don't have the A plus setup just because we were looking at the daily, and what we saw with Hollow, this stock is, this one just right at the get-go looks like a pump and dump. You don't want to be involved with that. This is the one that is 20 million float, so just at the borderline of small those easily pump and dump stocks. All right, so now we protect our profit, and what we'll do is we will just put our stop loss behind that move. If it pulls back, then we are out of that trade. But right now we are so close to getting stop out here, and let's see if it's gonna stop us out. All right, so that stop us out. So done with that trade. Let's see if we are able to see any other easy stocks to trade. So the goal of a day trader is to always look for the easy trade. obvious trade, just because there are so many options, there are so many stocks that we can trade, and why bother entering a stock, or why bother trading a stock that is so hard to trade when you can have other stocks that you can trade and can be a one and done. So the goal is to always have, if you can do a one and done trade, that's preferred. Otherwise, a little bit of a stab on different stocks would do as well, but that is only if the market is hot. So right now, what I can see with SPY is looking at a higher time frame. Highest time frame that a day trader can look at is the daily, but of course you can still look at weekly and all, but it's gonna be not helpful at all, because what you wanted to do is looking at the daily, and you want to look at the support and the resistance, and you go from there. So for instance, the SPY, it opened right here at 589, and at one point it touched 590, and the lowest it went to is 588. So just comparing this candlestick here from previous candlestick, this candlestick is inside this previous candlestick. So you know already that this kind of day is going to be an inside bar play, or it's going to be a range. The EC day is the trend, where let's say you have your previous day candlestick and it opened right here where you have a big gap up, or you have a big gap down, then that is, let's say, where is my pen? Let's say, disregard this. If it opened right here, you have your candlestick there. This gap right here, we call a gap up. That's the EC day kind of day, because it already have a bias. If it's gapping up that much, that means the overall market is strong. So the other stocks that kind of mimic SPY, like tech stocks, Nasdaq is heavy on tech. SPY, you have your shares of, because SPY is that 500, SPY 500, or the 500 company in the US. But you can already say that there is a bias that is formed, because overall market is strong. So that means individual stocks can have that potential as well for it to be strong. Or let's say, disregard this, and it opened right here, so you already have that huge gap down right there. Right at the open, you can already have that bias, or that conclusion that the overall market is weak. Hence, there might be some individual stocks that might be weak as well, and it can be a day for shorting. So for us, we saw the SPY is an inside bar. We already know that this is going to be a range kind of day. Range kind of day, meaning you have your range and it's just going to go sideways. Those things, you know for a fact that if it's a range bound day, then it is just a scalp day. Scalp day meaning you go in and you go out quickly. You don't ride the wave, or be at that specific stock for the longest time, because SPY is just sideways. So now this is the stock that we trade. So a lot of newbies, what they'll do is, oh, this is so strong, I'm gonna go long here now. The thing is, if you do long here at this level, you might get lucky, right? But that's the being lucky, or hoping for a stock to move is not a strategy. Might as well just go to a casino. At least they have free food. But you want to do an A+ setup. We were able to cross out. So trading is also like taking an exam. It's like a process of elimination. the easiest way to trade and look for the best stock is the process of elimination. We opened the computer at 9:40, and right there and then we were able to see which stock is the best for us to trade. So we put in our level at hollow, your pre-market high with a pre-market low, and looking at the daily, I already called that out that this is not going to be the stock to trade because look at this one. It's a pump and dump stock. 2 trading days ago, look at how the stock had moved. This huge gap, that is what you call the stock had been halted. So it opened, let's see, we're looking at the daily. Look at this huge gap. At the trading day, if that stock moved that much, then that could be a day where it gets halted. But nevertheless, you look at the daily, you see how volatile that stock is. Let's see the spread. Spread is just a 0.01, so not as much, but the way that we get to eliminate this from our list is we look at the float. Float is 20 million, so anything below 20 million is a low float stock. Low float stock is, if you don't have a lot of shares that is currently actively being traded, then there could be a big pocketed retail trader that can just buy all those shares and they can just dump all those shares. That's the reason why they call it a pump and dump. One stock trader can buy, let's say, a couple of millions of shares and they can just sell it all at once as well. You don't want to be stuck in that trade because that's the time where it just can go down so quickly that even if you have your stop loss, it can even not get the fill. So that's why we stay away from low float stock. Now, some people have, their specialty is in small cap stock or low float stock. There are different traders, and I don't like having that much of a risk, although it can also, is very profitable for some. But what I like is consistency. What I like is lowering the risk. That's why every time I look for an easy stock, because what we want is an rinse and repeat strategy. Since we're doing this one for the long haul, we're doing this one as, until we are not able to function anymore. But yeah, what we are teaching is the consistency, the strategy that you can do, rinse and repeat. So what else is moving? BBAI. Looking at the daily, there's no setup there. RGTI, no setup there as well. Hollow is very strong. SOUN is an inside bar as well. Mara is just consolidating right here at the 5 minutes. And then you have, let's see, Tesla here. Tesla stopped us out when it retested the VWAP and it's now heading higher. AMD, Tesla also is encountering that strong resistance, the pre-market high 426. Now will it go to 426? Everything is 50-50. At this point, look at the volume bar. Volume bar is dying. Comparing that volume bar to this volume bar, there's not a lot here. Now, can you short it here? It's a high risk short just because you still have the ceiling right here. So this one can also still just test the ceiling, but that's why I don't consider this one now as an easy trade. Plus, SPY is against you just because SPY is just moving sideways. So that makes it even a riskier trade and not an A+ setup. Next, and plus the doji is a candlestick that says doesn't know. It's a candlestick of indecision, or for short, doesn't know. but yeah, it's a candlestick of indecision. So pre-market low at AMD, pre-market high at 123. But look at how most of the stocks that we're watching are just consolidating. That's because what SPY is doing. SPY is an inside bar. That's why it's just going like a ping pong ball. Or yeah, you have your ceiling, you have your floor, and it's just going back and forth. All right, so I think that's it for us. There's really not a lot of stocks that's moving now. That's because SPY is going sideways. And let's go back to the Tesla. So what we saw with Tesla was this, the daily. So daily, you have a very strong stock overall that had an all-time high at 487, and then it had been consolidating for a while. You have your moving average right here. Now, if we compare the trade that we did with Tesla, this is not an A+ setup, definitely. It's not an A+ setup because of how the daily looks like. It's not a gap up, it's not a gap down, but it's an inside bar. But considering that SPY is an inside bar, we switch our gear and we have that strategy that is also good in a range bound day. So what we did here was a range bound strategy where we know for a fact that we are in range, so we will have a scalp trade and we will be in and out of that trade considering the overall market that we're in, as well as the volume bar, the moving average, the VWAP. So what we saw was Tesla had touched 427.50 or 60, and we have a support at 414. That support is the pre-market low. Pre-market high is at 426. Huge dump at the open, 5 minutes with this inverted hammer, very weak until it touched the 414. That 414 there is the pre-market low, acted as a very strong support. That very strong support, we waited for a bounce higher, and going back and forth how the SPY looks like as well, waiting for the SPY to bounce. We have seen a little bit of a bounce from the SPY, so we took that opportunity. Looking at a smaller time frame, you have your support right here, that's the pre-market low, have that consolidation. We were looking at the volume bar. Volume bar is still not there, so we started a small position right here. Look at this hammer. The way that you get to look at each individual candlestick is what's happening behind that. So even if you don't get to see that current bid ask as well as the tape, you already know what happened here. So you have your hammer at this level, and what this hammer is telling us is the buyers won the move. So what happened was seller was trying to push this down, but buyers took over, and that's why we were left with this wick. So buyers took over and it closes above where it opened. That's why it ended up green. So at that confirmation, we started a small position, added to the position, and we were able to ride that wave. And if you have good enough share size, then that little bit of a move is good enough for you to make a good profit out of it. So you were able to capture 416.79 all the way to 420.72. So that's almost $1. And with good enough share size, that's a decent move. So with that, we got 2,700 from Tesla, and we just traded, less than 30 minutes, last trading day of the year. We're very excited on what 2025 is gonna bring us. So yeah, for those of you guys who have questions on where to begin on how to day trade for a living, please feel free to check our website out. It's ecourseunlock.com, and in that website, you'll be able to see our most common strategy, because we share that, and you can actually download it for free now. It's at least 20 pages of very detailed strategy of strategies that we use here day in and day out. Just like what I mentioned, what we want is an easy trade. What we want is a consistency more than, making it so fancy and all. Fancy is not gonna give you that consistency. What's gonna give you the consistency is having it, so simple that you can explain it to a 10-year-old. So the goal is, you can actually have that solid strategy if you're able to explain it to a 10-year-old. That means it's so easy that even a 10-year-old will understand it. So yeah, please check our website. It's ecourseunlock.com. So we also ventured out into real estate. We do have some investment in real estate as well. But with regards to day trading, if you go to that tab of day trading,
hi, my name is Mary, and I'm a day trader. So what?
Move this one here. So Day Trading Unlock, we value 3 foundations of day trading. This is method or strategies with an edge, mind management or trading psychology, money management or risk management. It's like a 3-legged stool. You have to have those 3 legs, otherwise leave one and you're not going to be consistently making money out of day trading. So we do have our services here, and this is our syllabus. It's more than 64 hours of learning. We add to the content weekly, so learning never stops. So you have there what is day trading up to chapter 11. And again, we add to the content weekly, so learning never stops. You have the trading recap there just to see if you guys would like to check if our strategy also matches your strategy, or how can you enhance your strategy. Just check the trade recap. So with that, this is the link to, if you go to the freebies, that PDF that you can download for free. You just need to put in your email so we know where to send that PDF form. So with that, thank you so much again for watching, and we're very excited for 2025, what 2025 will bring us. And I hope you guys had an amazing 2024. For those of you who are just starting, I think it's always is a good strategy to have different arsenal in you. Could be day trading, it could be investing in real estate, but different sources of income will give you the lifestyle as well as give you the option to live your life. You don't have to be stuck in your desk and do 8 to 5. There is a lot of options out there. You just have to invest in getting those wisdom and in understanding and basically getting the knowledge on how to do different things, different tasks. May it be in trading, may it be in real estate. So with that, thank you so much for watching, and we'll do this again in 2025, which is, let's see, 2025. So tomorrow the stock market is closed. We do this live day trading every Tuesday. So by the time we do this again, it will be 2025, and that will be January 7th. And yeah, this is also the time of the year that we get to build those vision boards. Those, you make your vision board as specific as possible. So you have 12 months. With that 12 months, you can learn a lot of stuff. You even break it down to monthly, you even break it down to weekly, and break it down to daily. And you put in specific tasks even every hour. For me, beginning to day trade, I told myself I'm good. I'm gonna give myself 5 years to learn this stuff, and it's less than 5 years, and we got it. But you have to be patient to yourself as well, and you have to have a specific plan on how you can tackle specific tasks. So, for instance, day trading, you create a block, let's say 3 hours or 2 hours a day. You're gonna read a book about day trading, or you're gonna watch, a recap, or someone day trades. At least you get to learn something every day. And I think that's worth having your day, as you can call a day that's, it gives you the fulfillment that you learned something new. At the same time, you did not waste your time, because every day you learn is not a wasted time. So invest in yourself, invest in learning, and invest in just having lots of arsenals in your backpack. In that way, if you need it, you're able to use it, and you can have a lifestyle that you want. So sorry for the long run, but very excited for year 2025. Happy New Year to everyone. And we'll do this again next year. That will be January 7th, 2025. Thank you for your time and for watching. Bye-bye now. Or just loving what you do, exploring the world, giving back, serving. Now the list can go on and on. What's the common denominator here? All of this require time. And if we will spend 90,000 hours at work, which is the average number of hours a person works in their lifetime, then who has the time to do all this? 24 hours in a day isn't coming to an end. 24 hours is all that we're going to get. Now, wish you could have more time so you can focus on what matters most. What would you do if you have more time in your hand? What would you do if money is not the driving force, for you to work? What if you have to get up in the morning, not because you have to clock in at work? What if you have to roll out of your bed to do what you love to do? For instance, for you to travel, spend time with your loved one, follow your passion, maybe do a volunteer work. Did you ever dream of reclaiming more time in a day, or ever wanted to start your own business so you can experience more autonomy, not having to report to a boss, and having the liberty to make your own decision or your own schedule? And I am not talking about retirement. Every day, we get a fresh 24 hours to make that decision on how we would spend that 24 hours. Every day, we are in a crossroad. Our decision will determine our future. In day trading, you can reclaim more time from your day by cutting the working hours to less than 10 hours per week, so you can focus on what matters most. Because honestly, for some, that 10 hours is only their commute time per week to work. After all, we all have seen this ad before. So reclaim more time through day trading so you can focus on what matters most. After all, we are all in a borrowed time, so make it count. Click the link below to learn how to day trade for a living. Hi, my name is Mary and I'm a day trader. So what do you value the most? Is it family? Is it your relationship? Is it health? Is it growth? Or maybe a status? Or maybe a popularity? Is it achievement? Or is it security? Is it fulfillment? Or is it a passion? Is it a relationship, adventure, being creative, being able to do what you want at your own terms? Or just loving what you do, exploring the world, giving back, serving? Now the list can go on and on. What's the common denominator here? All of this require time. And if we will spend 90,000 hours at work, which is the average number of hours a person works in their lifetime, then who has the time to do all this? 24 hours in a day isn't coming to an end. 24 hours is all that we're going to get. Now, wish you could have more time so you can focus on what matters most. What would you do if you have more time in your hand? What would you do if money is not the driving force for you to work? What if you have to get up in the morning, not because you have to clock in at work? What if you have to roll out of your bed to do what you love to do? For instance, for you to travel, spend time with your loved one, follow your passion, maybe do a volunteer work. Did you ever dream of reclaiming more time in a day, or ever wanted to start your own business so you can experience more autonomy, not having to report to a boss, and having the liberty to make your own decision or your own schedule? And I am not talking about retirement. Every day, we get a fresh 24 hours to make that decision on how we would spend that 24 hours. Every day, we are in a crossroad. Our decision will determine our future. In day trading, you can reclaim more time from your day by cutting the working hours to less than 10 hours per week, so you can focus on what matters most. Because honestly, for some, that 10 hours is only their commute time per week to work. After all, we all have seen this ad before. So reclaim more time through day trading so you can focus on what matters most. After all, we are all in a borrowed time, so make it count. Click the link below to to learn how to day trade for a living. Hi, my name is Mary and I'm a day trader. So what do you value the most? Is it family? Is it your relationship? Is it health? Is it growth? Or maybe a status? Or maybe a popularity? Is it achievement? Or is it security? Is it fulfillment? Or is it a passion? Is it a relationship, adventure, being creative, being able to do what you want at your own terms? Or just loving what you do, exploring the world, giving back, serving? Now the list can go on and on. What's the common denominator here? All of this require time. And if we will spend 90,000 hours at work, which is the average number of hours a person works in their lifetime, then who has the time to do all this? 24 hours in a day isn't coming to an end. 24 hours is all that we're going to get. Now, wish you could have more time so you can focus on what matters most. What would you do if you have more time in your hand? What would you do if money is not the driving force for you to work? What if you have to get up in the morning, not because you have to clock in at work? What if you have to roll out of your bed to do what you love to do? For instance, for you to travel, spend time with your loved one, follow your passion, maybe do a volunteer work. Did you ever dream of reclaiming more time in a day, or ever wanted to start your own business so you can experience more autonomy, not having to report to a boss, and having the liberty to make your own decision or your own schedule? And I am not talking about retirement. Every day, we get a fresh 24 hours to make that decision on how we would spend that 24 hours. Every day, we are in a crossroad. Our decision will determine our future. In day trading, you can reclaim more time from your day by cutting the working hours to less than 10 hours per week, so you can focus on what matters most. Because honestly, for some, that 10 hours is only their commute time per week to work. After all, we all have seen this ad before. So reclaim more time through day trading so you can focus on what matters most. After all, we are all in a borrowed time, so make it count. Click the link below to learn how to day trade for a living. Hi, my name is Mary and I'm a